Direct misfire, talking many war games. Bensome and Spoon are taking aim. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date.
Hello all, welcome to Direct Misfire's next army review. Today we are looking at the forces of nature. Before we get into the army lists and whatnot, we'll get into the fluff and go over the army-wide special rules.
Yep.
So
now,
take us away.
Like most armies, it's only a couple of pages worth of text. Not a whole lot to say about the forces of nature. They're the true neutral, so led by the Green Lady, who's this powerful lady who's both super good and also super bad, trying to balance out good and evil. If good's too good, she'll kind of get a whacking stick and beat them back a bit. If evil's taken over, she'll go the other way around. She can control just about anything nature-wise, so if someone's causing trouble across the other side of the world, she can go oogly boogly and up comes some evil trees or good trees depending, and all the other fantastical beasties of nature to fight whatever she wants them to fight. That's it. That'll do anyway. How about, with that done, get into the army rules. So as I've just said, they're neutral alignment. Just about all the units have Pathfinder special rule, which is pretty good, I think. One of the better army-wide rules. And they also have a unique little upgrade, I guess you can call it. It's called Wild Companions. They're supposed to be like feral animals and stuff that the unit sticks onto the enemy, but in game terms, it's essentially a Fireball 5 with Piercing 1 spell. It's just a once-off. So you're supposed to get a little animal marker for your unit, and once it's used, you take it away, so you can visually see if they have expended their Wild Companion or not. Alright.
That's it.
That's it. Let's get into the meat and gravy of the army, with a bit of potatoes, a bit of spuds and carrots. Starting off with the Naiad and Snarers. What are these guys?
Come in troops, regiments and hordes. Speed 5, 4 up for melee, defense 3, 10, 12 and 25 attacks. Nerve, we've got 9/11, 13/15, 20/22, and 100 points, 140 points, and 230 points.
So they seem like standard infantry stats, maybe slightly less defensive with defense 3.
I think they make up with that with the ensnare and regeneration, though.
Yes, that's right. So maybe you can shoot them off, because ensnare doesn't work like that. But if you don't focus fire, the regen should bring them back to full.
Yeah,
capacity.
regen 4 up's pretty good.
Yeah. Just before we go any further, anyone who doesn't know, the Force of Nature comprises of a lot of different armies. So these Naiad and Snarers are now also in the Trident Realms, and you'll see Salamanders as well, and Centaurs appear in the herd too. So it's a culmination of different natural beasts. Anyway, we shall continue. What do you think of them?
They're alright. I kind of skip over these guys because I think there's better options, but that's me.
Yeah, I think if you're going to take these guys, it's very specific to a list in terms of maybe all shooting or something like that, because I feel you don't want them up in combat, but they'll just kind of get pummeled.
Yep. I think it's completely different when you go and take the Trident Realms army, but in nature I'd kind of skip over them for other units that are in the army list.
Yep.
We'll move on to the next one. Magic items, if you were going to take them. Anything in particular you'd take on them?
I would probably go to try and, like with all the other Naiad units in here, the neg 1 to nerve rolls.
Brawl of Courage?
Yeah.
Yep.
just to
That's not a
make
bad one.
use of that regen.
Uh,
I don't like their fighting potential, so crushing strength or +1 to hit, all that kind of stuff, I don't feel is...
It's not worth it.
No. Maybe plonk a 5-point bow on them so they can do something.
Yeah, while they're waiting to fight.
Yeah. Though, a couple of troops might be okay, just to get in the way. Ensnare might be able to hold something up, but then the low nerve 9-11, it's... And defense 3, no, I don't know, no.
You're preying on something charging him in the front.
Yeah.
And getting the -1 to hit, really, aren't you?
Yeah. They're not super speedy. Speed 5's like kind of average. Next.
Let's move. We'll do the heart piercers next, because they're infantry as well.
These are the same dudes, but with harpoon guns.
Yep.
So they have a range 4, still defense 3, attacks are 8 and 10, so that's standard for troop and regiment. Nerves the same as the ensnarers, but the points is 120, 160 for troop and regiment. Harpoon guns 18 inches, range piercing 1, regen 4, like the other naiads.
Yep.
These guys seem okay.
I quite like these guys.
In both flavours, they work well. Troop more annoying, regiment just stick about a bit longer.
Magic items?
I don't think the +1 to hit is very good
not,
for this.
Nah. I think you'll find throughout the nature list that there's not a hell of a lot of shooting anyway. So these guys, if you take them in your list, they're only going to be taking a couple of pips off something. They're not going to take out a unit. It's not like a horde of elven archers or
no, that's right.
Yeah, shooters or anything like that. So
the jar, while expensive, you can't really put it on much else, so that might be something. It's still only 10 shots, but at least it's 30-inch range.
18-inch range isn't that bad though. I mean, these, for me, I'd be using these guys to move up, take an objective, and just sit on it.
That's exactly what I'd use them to.
Yeah,
because objectives are usually kind of mid-board anyway. So
yeah, I mean, by the time you've moved, you might move once or twice during the game. You've probably got to a token or a marker or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I'd be using them for. As far as magic items go, I can't really justify much on them.
No, keep them cheap.
Maybe the only one, I think, because I've put it in my list, I've got a unit of these in my list we'll go through later. I put the fire oil on them, only because I had 5 points spare.
Yeah, it seems fine.
And I couldn't spend it on anything else really, so...
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, move on to the next unit.
Naiad Worm Riders.
These guys are your large cavalry. Coming regiments and hordes. Speed 8, melee 3 up. Defense 4, attacks 9 and 18 for the horde. Your nerve, you're looking at 12/14 and 15/17, and 155 points versus 240 points. And for that value, you get crushing strength 1, regeneration 4 up, and thunderous charge 1.
So still low defensive is not very good. 4+, but regen hopefully you'd think can counteract that. I mean, it's better than the ensnarers and heart piercers.
Yep.
They're not super punchy. It's only CS and TC 1 each, but it's better than nothing.
I don't think these guys are overly bad. They're pretty quick.
Yeah, Speed 8's pretty good.
Speed 8's nothing to laugh at.
You'd need to give them... they already come with Pathfinder, don't they?
Yes, yep.
Extra speed would help.
Yeah, like Brew of Haste would be good.
Or extra punch.
Yeah, Brew of Strength. Yep, would be another one to look at.
They wouldn't need much else.
Yeah, I wouldn't be throwing these guys against the biggest and toughest enemy unit, but normal infantry. I reckon they'd give them a fair go. Their low nerve value is what scares me a little bit. I think it's the low nerve and the low defense, but I don't know. Without playing them and using that regen, a bit hard to tell. I think they're alright though.
Yeah, they're okay. Every time I go to look at them to put them in the list, I just and look for something else.
Yeah.
I don't know where the psychology is behind that, but that's my personal feelings.
Again, in the Trident list, I think going to be a different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, move on.
Yep.
Oh, hang on.
Hell?
Magic items.
Didn't we go
Magic
through
items. Did we?
that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did too.
We did.
Alright, next unit is Hunters of the Wild.
Okay, so what are these guys? Spirits and Fairy Folk. They are kind of like your Berserker type peeps. So they're Speed 6, Melee 4, Defense 4, 20 and 25 attacks for Troop and Regiment. No Horde for these. Nerves stand again, 10, 12 and 14, 16 for Troop and Regiment, and 135 and 190 points respectively. The only additional rules you get on top of this is Vanguard.
I think that's a great rule for tree people.
Yeah, Speed 6 Vanguard, that's
You've covered half the
pretty
board
good.
before you've started.
Lots of attacks.
And look, they've only got defense 4, but they're shelling out a lot of attacks. They're hitting on a 4 up.
Even just the troop at 135 points, it's still quite a threat. I don't want something with 20 attacks flying at my face. They don't hit bad, or they don't hit well. It's 4 up. They're just, I think it's a bit light on actual stopping power. There's no crushing strength or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that can be changed when you start adding magic into the equation, though. I mean, you've got probably a lot of other choices you'd rather put your Bane Shan on when we get to that, but that'd be something to consider.
And magic item, you could put strength on them.
Yeah.
Can kick up their speed if you want to take that Vanguard and boost it up a bit.
Is there much point putting extra speed on them?
Because if you move up 12 and then you've got a 14-inch charge, so you could get something first turn if they've
deployed right on the line. You'd move up 14 because it's at the double.
Right, so it's not just a 12-inch move, it's an at the double move.
Yeah, it's an at the double move. So you could move up to 14 and then possibly charge in the first turn. Yep. That's a good way of disrupting that horde of archers, or...
And even just the psychology of having a unit in your lines first turn. People may struggle to react.
Yep.
Put them out of sorts if they don't have their what's it together.
Is that about it for them?
That's about it for them.
Yep. Alright, move on to the next unit we've moved into.
We'll go with the Salamanders, I reckon.
Yeah, we'll do infantry because... Wowie. Anyway, we'll do Salamanders.
Yep.
So these guys come in, they're infantry, they come in troops, regiments and hordes. The one big thing to note is the base size is 25 by 25 mil for these guys.
So that's quite a big horde.
Yeah, they're not your standard 20 by 20 mil base for infantry. Anyway, stats are speed 5, melee 4 up, defense 5, attacks 10, 12, 25, nerve 10/12, 14/16, 21/23, and points 100, 140, 230. And on top of that, you get crushing strength 1.
So standard stats for your infantry. Defense is decent though.
Yeah, very decent for an infantry unit. Yeah.
Crushing strength. So they're kind of like a semi-elite infantry when you compare to other armies' infantry.
Yep. The other option you do get as well, you can exchange the shields for two-handed weapons for free, which gives you crushing strength 2, but your defense lowers by 1, so down to defense 4.
Yeah, I struggle taking that. I like having them as a solid block that's hard to shift.
Again, I don't think I'd be taking it on them. I'd be using my maybe a Bane Chant.
Yeah.
On them to give that extra crushing strength, keep the defense up, keep them sticking around.
I would take them in regiments and hordes. I wouldn't do it with troops because they don't move fast enough.
Yep, I'd agree with that. Magical items, anything in particular you give them?
Lots of things could work here. You could make them more defensive, give them phalanx. If you've got a shooty arm and you're holding things back, put them as a horde, give them stealthy.
Yep, that's a good one.
If they're not going to be doing much, just holding objectives, give them a long range item, because otherwise they're not doing anything.
If you're taking a horde, were you saying horde or regiment?
Yeah, a horde.
Yeah, if you're taking a horde and not doing anything, there's probably something wrong.
No,
you wouldn't want them to be fighting.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but that's also a point sink, so they have to come and get rid of it, otherwise
True.
they're not getting 230 plus items worth of points. I've used it against you like that.
You run a horde against me.
I haven't had any trouble.
I remember you using regiments. I don't remember horde.
Yeah,
But
nice big horde of salamanders when I was playing as a salamander army.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's jump over to the Centaur Bray Striders. So these are centaurs. Troop and regiment, speed 8, pretty good. Melee 3, defense 4, 6 and 12 attacks, which I feel like that's a bit low for cavalry.
Yeah, I would agree.
Nerves 11, 13, 14, 16, and points is 100, 155. They come with crushing strength and thunderous charge 1. Not bad. Speed 8, they've got Pathfinder as standard. They've got a little bit of stopping power with CSTC. If they're disordered, they still have the crushing strength, which is good. Not a lot of attacks though.
Just for a note, these guys are cavalry, if anyone didn't pick up on that.
Yep.
I think these guys are alright. Could be used in either unit size. I would be taking them in regiments, just so they stick around a bit longer.
Yeah, if you take them as a troop, it's just a screen. I think if you're taking more of a fast army, just to keep them in front.
Take the wounds or make your opponent shoot at a modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's them.
That's them.
Magic. Do you magic item them? I personally wouldn't bother.
Nah, I don't think. No, I think I'd rather keep them cheap.
Yeah. Move on to their brothers, the Centaur Bray Hunters.
So they're not striders, they're hunters.
Same stats.
Except for the melee's worse.
Yes, sorry. Melee's 4 up. Oh, hang on.
Yep.
Yeah, it is 4 up. Ranged 5 up.
Defense
is also lower as well. There you go. Same attacks.
Same nerve.
Same nerve. Points differ as well, sorry. So it's
105
not
and
the same at all. I thought they were the same.
No.
So these guys are your shooting version of the centaurs. So they have bows, they're nimble, and they have thunderous charge 1.
So good harassment unit.
Yep.
Speed 8 and
these
nimble.
guys. Yep. I think for 165 points, I'd be taking regiments of these as well. 165 points, I think they're a good little unit.
Mm-hmm. A couple
Absolute
of troops
pain in the
also.
arse.
2 troops would be annoying.
Yep. Again, could be used as screens. Mostly a harassment, little war machine, individual hunter. Speed 8 is quite good with nimble. Magic items.
Same as the brace riders, really. I'd put the +1 speed, maybe. I wouldn't want to do anything else other than that.
Yeah. Would you use these guys in any other way other than harassing?
Nope.
Yep.
No, I would not. I think that's what they're bred for.
I mean, when push comes to shove and they have the opportunity to charge something in the flank, I'm sure you wouldn't say no to that, though. You still get the thunderous charge.
Yeah,
1.
better than shooting, but that's only if you can get a flank.
Yeah. Next unit.
The Sylph Talon Riders. So these are a large cavalry option. And they've got a little asterisk by their name, so that makes them irregular, as far as I know.
Yes. So they don't count towards your regiment or count sort of thing.
Yeah. So these are your flying cavalry. So they come in regiments and hordes. Speed 10, melee 4, range 4, defense 3, 6 and 12 attacks again. Nerves a bit better than the centaurs, 12, 14, 15, 17. And points are 135 and 210. Anything special these guys have are bows and can fly. But they also got Pathfinder, so they're not going to stuff up in forests. I think they fill a similar role as the centaurs. A bit better in terms of their ranged ability and maneuverability. So that's why you're paying a bit more for them.
Yep.
But defense and attacks are the same. Nerves slightly better. So if I've got the points, take these guys over the Bray Hunters. Otherwise, if you're looking for points, swap these guys out for the Bray Hunters.
Yeah. Yep. I wouldn't bother. Magic items I wouldn't bother with.
Nah. I wish you could put Boots of Speed or Potion of Speed or whatever on more than one unit. That'd be so sweet. But overpowered.
Move on to the next one.
Yes. What have we got?
You're right. We're on to the Forest Shamblers,
Forest Shamblers.
which are your large infantry.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so these guys come in regiments and hordes, speed 6, melee 4 up, defense 5, attacks 9 or 18. They're fearless with a route value of 14 and 17, and points 125 and 190. And you get crushing strength 1, they're shambling, and they vanguard.
So fairly standard large infantry stats.
Stats, yep.
Speed 6 is nice. That's about it. And Vanguard's a good thing too, because most elementals don't have that.
Yep. I quite like these guys. I think they're a bit light in the whack and power, with only crushing strength 1. Again, you can start casting Bane Chant, they become a little bit better. Vanguard's awesome. Magic items to me, probably Brewed Haste is what I'd be looking at. Mainly because I would be aiming at vanguarding and surging these guys into combat turn 1.
Right.
Depending on what was on the other side of the board, obviously. But
yeah, you'd need a couple of good surges though.
Well, if your movement's 7, you've moved 14. If you've got 2 tree herders like I do, you'll get there.
Right. Otherwise, punchy power, like extra strength or elite or something.
Yep.
Works well.
Yep. Anything that gives them a bit of extra hitting power is going to be good.
Before jumping onto one of the monsters, how about we cover the elementals, because they fill similar roles.
Yeah, why did they... God, they've screwed this book up, haven't they?
Maybe they like keeping things together, I don't know.
Maybe. Alright, let's do the elementals.
So, like the Shamblers, everything's fairly similar except their speed 5. Melee's the same at 4, defense is the same at 5, standard large infantry attacks at 9 and 18, nerves also fearless 14, 17, points 130 and 200, so just slightly more expensive than the Forest Shamblers.
Yep.
Crushing strength 1 and shambling no vanguard, but you have to take one of 4 options, so depending on what flavour of ice cream you're after, you can give them earth to make them defense 6 for free, which is a pretty good option. Fire for speed 6 and crushing 2 for free, also a good option depending on your list and how you like to play.
Yep.
Comes a bit more specialised here with our elementals. Speed 10 and fly, you'd lose your crushing strength so they don't hit as hard, and that's an extra 20 points. Or the last flavour is water, so it's speed 7, regen 5, and that's an extra 20 points. I have a tendency to go to either earth or fire. I think there's too much faffing about with air elementals and surge to get things right, but if you've written a list specifically for those kind of tricks, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But just my personal taste, I like my chocolate and strawberry, earth and fire.
I don't think water's all that bad.
Water's okay, it's 20 points extra.
Yeah. You're not getting much bang for your buck, really, are you?
At speed 7, regen 5, keeps me in the game.
Regen's always good. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be on the same page.
I'm always squeezing for points, and 20 is a big jump.
Quite a few, yeah. Earth or fire, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to go chocolate rather than strawberry.
Yeah. Since we're in this realm, we can go to the greater elemental and we can jump back up to the other monsters.
Yeah.
So this fills again a similar role to the other two. Speed 5, melee 4, defense 5, like the other elementals. 8 attacks, fearless 18 at 160, so standard greater elemental stats. CS2 and shambling. And again, you have to take one of 4 flavors. Earth gives you defense 6 and crushing 3. That's for free, that's pretty good. That's like the obsidian golem then. Fire, speed 6, crushing 4, and breath attack 6. I don't know why you would use a breath attack 6. I suppose if you can't surge.
Yeah.
Just spit some embers on someone.
You could spit and then be surged into again.
If you've lined it up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's 6 dice and it's throwaway. Anyway.
They knock those 6 dice.
Everyone counts, I know.
Especially when I'm rolling.
Yeah, that's right. You need as many dice as you can get. Air elementals, a bit better than your standard ones, because they have Wind Blast 3 on top of your Speed 10. And they have a Crushing Strength still at 1. It's reduced, but at least it's something. But that costs 30 points.
That's a lot.
You're getting 30 points for Wind Blast.
Yeah, but it's Wind Blast 3, so on average, you're moving in
1 inch.
unit, maybe 1 or 2 inches.
It doesn't seem worth it.
1.5, yeah. Yeah, no, not for 30 points. No way.
No.
Anyway, water.
And
So
water,
good to go.
again, Speed 7, Regen 5 for 30 points. So it's exactly the same as the lesser elementals.
Yep.
Chocolate all the way.
Chocolate.
Strawberry's good too. Strawberry's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be complaining if I had chocolate or strawberry ice cream there.
Yeah.
Water's still usable, but yeah, that's a waste of 30 points in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, rule of thumb for the elementals is probably just stick to your chocolate and strawberry.
Yeah, that sounds like a good choice there. Alright, let's jump up to the other monsters.
Yeah. So the next one is the Hydra,
The Hydra.
which is speed 6, movement 4, defense 5. It's got a special attack value that will go through in a tick, which is 5 attacks, nerve of 15/17 and 140 points.
Mm-hmm.
For that you get Crushing Strength 2, Regeneration 5 up, and the little asterisk next to the attack is the multiple heads thing, or special rule I should say. So in addition to the basic 5, the Hydra has a number of additional attacks equal to its current points of damage.
I feel like I'd need to play with this monster a fair bit to see how good that actually is, because obviously the more damage you have, the more damage that you have, the closer to routing you are, but then the more attacks you get. It's a weird balancing act.
It is, but you've also got to remember, you've also got regeneration. So when you're healing, you're going to be losing attacks as well.
Yeah, so this is why I'm saying I need to play with this thing a whole bunch of times to get used to how it works properly. It sounds interesting. It's only 140 points, so it's not a whole lot.
I think it's pretty cheap.
Speed 6 is, it's alright.
It's okay.
4, it's okay. Defense 5 is pretty good. A bunch of attacks is always good. Crushing 2 is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, 140 points, it's an okay choice. I'm sure you could come up with some pretty cool figures as well.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Dark Elf Hydras from my Warhammer army that I'll probably end up using for these, but they don't fit on a 50mm base is the problem.
Yeah.
Gonna have to stick to the old cav base and it won't be much of an advantage to me.
Or maybe trying to jib the base by having it on some sort of scenic rock pointing upwards.
It's going to be a very long slanted rock, I think.
But if you can pull it off, I'm sure it'll look good.
Yeah, I'll see. It's a metal one, so I don't think it's going to...
No. Yeah, nah. Alright, next monster. The one that seems quite popular in most lists that I see.
It's because it's flipping awesome.
The Beast of Nature. So, Speed 7, pretty good. Melee 3, Defense 5, pretty good. 5 attacks, meh. Nerve 15/17 at 130 points. Ooh, that's cheap. Why is it so cheap? You've got Crushing Strength 2, nothing else. There are options.
And they're awesome.
So, you can take all of these, you could take none of these. But, for 30 points, you can have Lightning Bolt 6, add another 15 points, Breath Attack 10. If you want some fries with that, Fly and Speed 10 for 50 points. And, just to top things off, put a cherry on all that cream, Vicious and increase attacks to 7 for 30 points. So you could have a flying combat monster that can also shoot lightning, and for some reason if you wanted breath attack when it gets up close, all vicious, rerolling ones.
It does come out quite expensive.
It does, so I don't know why you'd take all of them. But if you like putting all the eggs in the basket, You could do that.
This is your type of ice cream.
All the flavours. It
This
just
is
comes
like-
out caramel.
No, this is like rainbow ice cream.
Yeah, caramel. It's caramel flavouring with colours. That's all it is.
Oh, you just
So
ruined it.
you could go as low as 130 points, or what's that? 50 plus 60 plus 15.
125.
255 points. So 130 to 255.
Gets rather expensive rather quickly. I mean, I have taken up to 3 of these options.
Fly, Vicious, and Lightning.
Yeah, and I've taken the other version as well, so I've gone Breath, Fly, and Vicious.
Fly is always good, especially with a Defense 5. Pretty scary looking monster. Lightning Bolt or Vicious, I feel like it's one or the other.
Lightning Bolt or Vicious?
Because
Why?
if you've got 7 attacks, I feel like that's what you want to be using, not zapping about Lightning 6.
You're not always going to make it to combat, though.
But it's an extra 30 points for something that you're not always going to use.
I'd still take it.
Yes. So
there's going to be situations where you're not going to be able to make it or fit in a gap.
But it's speed 10 fly.
Yeah.
You're going to be getting around pretty quick.
Yeah, you do. You do.
So that's my feelings. I think it's one or the other. I mean, if you got points to spare, if you just like throwing your cash about, and take them both.
Yeah, shell out the bickies.
Why not? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Alright.
Good monster. Take lots of them if you want.
Yeah. At least 2.
It works. 2's always a good option.
If you can fit them in.
If you can fit them in.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the basic
Yeah, we're up to characters.
fellas. Who's up? Druid.
Druid. So this is a little infantry hero. Your caster, or one type of caster anyway. Speed 5, melee 5, defense 4, 1 attack. Nerve is 10/12, 65 points. And for that you get heal 2. It's an individual and it's inspiring.
Lots of options you can take with this.
So you can take Lightning Bolt 3 for 20 points, Wind Blast 5 for 30 points, Surge 7 for 40 points, Bane Chant 2 for 15 points. You can ride a horse
For speed 9.
for speed 9 for 15 points, and he changes to Hero Cav. And you can have up to 2 wild companions for 10 points each.
I wouldn't be spoiling this druid with all these gifts.
Yeah,
one or 2.
Don't give them all the options.
No, it's a bit much. It's a very cheap character to begin with, just off the rank.
Yeah.
65 points for an inspired character that heals, which is okay. It's only heal 2, it's not much, but
It's something.
something.
For me, I would put this guy on a horsey.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably be giving him Bane Chant, and that would be it. Unless I had elementals, and
Then you need your surge.
I wasn't running tree herders.
Yep.
But we'll get to tree herders.
Shortly.
Yes. Everything else, like Lightning Bolt 3 is not going to do a whole heap. Wind Blast 5, not for 30 points.
But if you take a couple of druids with Lightning Bolt, do your Goblin Whiz Battery. So say 3 druids with Lightning Bolt.
That might be alright. Depends how your characters are set up, I guess.
You could also go a bit tricksy, take a couple of druids all on horses or stags or whatever and give them all Wind Blast. Speed 9's pretty good, start pushing people about.
Yeah, that's always a good trick. Yeah, I suppose that could work. It's going to get... How many are you going to take, though? Is going to be
4.
worth your points. 4. Quarter your army and
That'd be fun.
freaking characters.
But yeah, you're right. Just Bane Chant probably take all the time. I wouldn't take mounts unless I'm taking a fairly fast army.
I put mine in my list on a horse, but we'll get to that when we go through lists.
Yeah.
Magic items for this guy. Anything in particular to give him?
I wouldn't bother.
Neither would I. Keep him cheap.
Yeah. Maybe if you have one main caster, give them the extra surge item.
Yeah, whatever it is of
The item of extra surging.
something unspeakable darkness or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Dude
Not that
man.
important. Yeah, Dude Man. Right, we'll go to the next one.
Yep.
which is the Forest Warden, which is a hero, large infantry character. Speed 6, melee 4, defense 5, 3 attacks. Nerve 11/13 at 75 points. And for that, you get Crushing Strength 2, Nimble, and Vanguard.
So what do you think this Warden does in terms of roll?
Screen. That's what it
A
does.
75-point screen.
Yeah. Don't put magic items on it, it's a waste of time. These
Not
guys
individual, so it can be shot.
could be. If they're shooting at that, they're not shooting at the beast of nature.
It's not much of a threat. I mean, it's not a big base size either.
Yeah, it's only large infantry, so it's only 40/40.
And speed 6.
Yeah, with the Vanguard, so it's going to have moved before the game starts.
I think it would be quite difficult trying to line up so you're screening with a small base like that.
Well, it depends on what unit sizes you've got, though. If you're running a horde of salamanders, sure, you're not going to be able to screen that. Running a troop or a regiment, maybe, depending on what's on the board.
I feel like it's situational.
Yeah, it probably is. I would love to take 2 of these in my list. I couldn't fit them in, but I think they're alright.
I would pass over these. 3 attacks isn't much. I don't feel like it's going to be doing anything.
Yeah, you're not paying for the attack value though. I don't think. Get in the way, force them to charge you, so you can charge back.
So a redirector screen.
That redirector or screen, and they've got the speed to do it. That unlike their forest shamblers, they're not suffering from shambling, so they can march. And they're nimble, so you can change the way they're facing. They're not an individual, so
they can redirect well.
So that's where I would be using them anyway. If I had the points, I would take 2.
Yeah.
But I don't. And we'll move on to the big boy.
The Tree Herder. So this is a hero monster size.
Yes.
Speed 6, melee 3, so he's a bit better than the Warden. Defense 6, bit better than the Warden. 7 attacks, bit better than the Warden. Nerve is 18/20 at 260 points. That gives you Crushing 3, Inspiring Surge 8, and Vanguard.
I think these are great.
Defense 6, Crushing 3, extra surges, so if you're taking your Shamblers or Elementals.
Yep.
Vanguard can be scary for big guys like this.
Especially if they've moved up their full 12 and the opponent's on the 12-inch mark.
So if you're taking a couple of Shamblers, take a couple of Tree Herders, it's probably half your list already, but everyone Vanguards and get a couple of Surges.
Yeah. Just remember, it's only going to be your Shamblers and your Elementals. The Hunters of the Wild don't get shambling, but I think they're great. Defense 6 is really good. The 7 attacks is nothing to be laughing at, especially with Crushing Strength 3. Inspiring is always good.
Nice little bonus.
Magic items, what would you think?
Extra Surge.
That's one I would be giving them.
Maybe I'd give them a Elite as well, because that makes your Surges better.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
And if you get in combat,
you can
hitting on
slug away
3s or 1s.
Yep, that's not a bad one. I wouldn't be giving them the most expensive items, because they do get rather pricey already.
Yes.
I think that surge item's like 30 or 35 points.
So
you're already looking at close to 300 points for one tree herder, but I think it's worth it.
So 2 almost 300 point Tree Herders, 2 hordes of Shamblers, that's about 1,000 points.
Yeah, it gets expensive rather quickly.
Yes, quite. But they're worth it.
Yeah, 30 points for the Unspeakable Darkness item, so you're looking at 290 for one. Anyway, I think they're good.
Yep. I wouldn't take them all the time if I don't have Elementals, but it's still a decent monster.
I like trees, so I'll take them every time.
Alright. Centaur Chief.
You go.
He's a hero cavalry. Speed 8 like the other Centaurs. Melee 3, defense 4, 4 attacks, 11/13 nerve, 105 points. Crushing 2, Thunderous, Charge 1, Inspiring, and Individual. So he punches okay. You can give him a bow if you wanted for an extra 10 points. It gives him range 4. 4 attacks, range 4, but no piercing. Meh. Or a Wild Companion for 10 points.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't give him either.
Nah, neither would I.
I would take him if I'm running other Centaurs or Cavalry, Worm Riders, something. Just so I can keep up with them, inspire them, and
Yep.
maybe take out some disorder characters or casters.
Yep.
So
Great for that role, like War Machine hunting.
Extra hitty items could be useful for that role.
I don't think I'd even bother with that. I mean, 4 attacks, you're hitting on 3s, unless you roll like me. All you got to do is 1 wound. Look, it doesn't matter if he doesn't break the unit. It's all about the disorder.
Yeah,
for
that's
me
right.
Anyway.
That's
at 105
the point.
points.
Cheap and cheerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Yep.
You just need to be careful with his positioning. Defense 4.
Yeah, you need to be putting him behind something until he's safe to...
Or cover, because cover plus individual makes him quite hard to hit.
Yeah. Keep him safe until it's safe to wander out into the wild.
That's right. Let's turn the page. Need a turn the page chime. I'll look into that for the next episode. Bring back the chime. Naiad Stalkers, they're hero infantry. What do we say about this fella? Speed 6, melee 3, defense 4, 4 attacks, 11, 13, and 90 points. So similar to this Centaur Chief in terms of melee, defense, and attacks and nerf.
Mm-hmm.
Only crushing 1, and it only inspires other Naiads. It's individual, it does have regen 4 like other Naiads, and it is stealthy.
Yep.
So very hard to shoot. Stealthy, individual, maybe cover. Nothing shooting at this thing. If we give it a harpoon, it gives it range 4, that's piercing 1, that's 20 points. Maybe, maybe not. And Wild Companions, which, again, I don't like. On a fireball, so I don't... Nah.
Yeah. For me, it's a skip.
Yeah.
If you're taking Naiads, like a lot of Naiads in this list, sure. Take a Naiad Stalker for 90 points. But you can get a cheaper inspiring character for 65 points.
I mean, even if you are taking Naiads, I mean, just because it's similar, I'd still be taking Druids, they still inspire.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. You can take a cheaper hero for 65 points that does the same thing, but
it doesn't have Vanguard, it's just... nah.
Yeah, it's a skip in my book. I mean, well, if you were going to take it, would you give it any magic items?
I just wish it had a couple more attacks, so a harpoon gun could be more useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
5 or 6 would make it viable. Maybe.
But shooting isn't going to disorder anyone. It'll help if you're just want to do 1 wound or 2 to cause that nerve roll.
Yeah, the nerve check. Yeah.
But at 90 points, I would be taking just a troop of Naiads anyway.
Yep.
So that's 100 points and you get 10 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thoughts on that subject. So I don't see much of a role with it.
That's a regiment, isn't it?
No, you can take a troop for 100. Or, I think I'm looking at the ensnares.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong unit. 120, 160.
120 for a troop.
Yeah.
So 30 points more for double attacks.
Yeah, you're better off taking the unit. Next one is a Salamander Veteran, another hero infantry unit. Speed 5, melee 3, defense 5, 4 attacks. Nervers 11/13 at 85 points. Again, because he's a Salamander, he's on a 25 by 25 mil base. You get crushing strength 2, individual, and he's inspiring to the Salamanders.
Only option you get.
Yeah, is the Wild Companion for 10 points.
I feel like this is in the same boat as the Stalker.
I think so too. It's a shame that they didn't give an option for a steed.
Yeah.
Of some description.
Because the Salamanders, in the Salamander book, you have that option.
Yep.
But you also have more varied heroes, not just a veteran.
Yeah, yep.
So like the Stalker, same sort of hitting power in terms of melee, except you get crushing 2 instead of 1. Defense is slightly better. He doesn't move about. He's not fast enough to do any sort of meaningful combat damage.
Nah.
Yeah, druids. Go druids.
Yep. Just skip over him as well, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Fiend
there's
is fine.
uses. I think there's probably uses for him, but
I mean,
I think
defense 5's okay for an 85-point figure, but it's just what are you doing with it?
yeah, exactly. Where's his role? I think that's it for him. Magic items, even if I was going to take him, I wouldn't bother with anything on him.
Let's get into a couple of heroes that are more viable.
The best one.
Winged Unicorn, Charlie.
Here he is, my main man Charlie. Speed 10, melee 3 up, defense 5 up, tax 4, nerve 12/14 at 170 points. You get fly, heal 7, inspiring, thunderous charge 2, and you can have a lightning bolt 5 for 20 points, wind blast 5 for 20 points, or bane chant 2 for 15 points.
This hero is large cap as well, so he's a bit bigger.
On a bigger base.
But he flies and heals. I would try and avoid combat where I can, even though it's got thunderous charge 2. It's only 4 attacks.
He's a supporting character.
Especially with those tasty extra spells, those bolt-ons. Lightning bolt if you want to zap a couple of people.
Yep. Lightning bolt, bane chant's probably good.
Yeah, heal and bane chant, I think that's all you need.
Depends on the role you want him to play too.
Yeah, that's right.
But I quite like him.
I would say keep him support.
Yep. Use your big beasties for the combat. But he's a good one. If you've got a very fast army, he's definitely great for hanging around the faster units to keep them inspired and heal
nice
them up.
And healthy.
Healed up if they need to be. Magic items? Anything you consider on him?
You could make him faster. You could make his lightning bolts better. I don't know. I don't think anything extra defensive is needed. It should be able to keep itself out of danger.
I'd consider the 6-up defense item on him. The
if you
armor.
want to make sure that he's sticking around.
Yeah, it's just with that low nerve value, you've got to be very careful with him.
But yeah, you should be able to mitigate that by making sure you're either in a lot of cover, can't be seen. Fly 10. It's smaller base size.
Well, it's not that small. He's 50 by 50.
Yeah, it can still squeeze him in gaps.
I think that's about it for him.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. So if you clip its wings, what do you get? You just get a non-winged unicorn, or just unicorn. So hero cavalry. Speed 10 still.
Yep.
Melee 3, defense 5, 3 attacks, so 1 less. The wings give it an extra attack. Nerve drops 2, so it's 11-13. But it's 120 points, so give it fly is an extra 50 points. The heal drops as well.
Yeah, it goes down to heal 5.
And you don't get special options.
Yep.
Dedicated support role.
Yeah, he's nothing else. Sitting behind units you want to keep alive and just heal and heal and heal and heal.
Because speed 10 you can still... Pew!
Yep. He's still super quick. The only real magic item I'd consider on this guy is the inspiring item. Anything else is just a waste of time in my opinion.
Just thinking, with the winged unicorn, something that might be good instead of the extra defense is the boots of levitation. That allows you to move at the double and still shoot or cast your spells.
Oh yeah, it becomes super
mobile.
quick. That's a really good one. Yeah, didn't think of that.
Same with the unicorn, I guess. Speed 20, heal 5.
Yeah, you can zip about to any side of the board. Maybe I'll have to find room for a second unicorn in the
to buy another unicorn. You have to paint them in the same colours as the animation though.
Nah, I've
So a
repainted
pink one, a blue
white.
one and a white one.
Oh, I've got a white one.
Yeah. So now you just
Charlie's
need a pink and blue one.
Nice. Alright, I can do that.
Yeah. And then you have to make a display board, call it Candy Mountain. You're set. Alright, so
Move on
what
to the next one.
happens if you cut the wings off the unicorn and then you don't like the horn and you break the horn of the unicorn, what do you get? You get a horse, and then you give it wings and it becomes a Pegasus.
You made that awfully complicated.
I did. It's because I didn't think about the wings. But there you go. This guy is large cav, like the winged unicorn. Speed 10, like the other ponies. Melee 3, defense 4. So defense drops by 1. Attacks is the same as unicorn. 10, 12 nerve, 80 points, so it's even cheaper still. No heal on this fella. It just flies and has a thunderous charge. What to do with you, Pegasus?
Yeah, it's a Naiad Stalker Salamander Veteran spot for me.
Yeah, 3 attacks. Just it's so low nerve. I guess you could give it an item to make it, like if you give it that 50-point item.
A bomb.
You make it a bomb. Run it in and blow things up.
That's an awfully expensive bomb.
Go Pegasus, go! Boom. Maybe a ranged attack. Trying to make use of that fly, because melee is not going to do much.
It doesn't even act really as a screen or redirector either. It just doesn't do a lot. Like even compared to, not that the Forest Warden is all that fantastic, but defense 4, anything's going to knock that over in a turn.
Are you playing with something? I can hear some scratching.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm playing with a file.
Fiddling.
My bad.
I only just noticed that. I don't know how long you've been doing it for.
Only about 10 seconds.
Apologies to any listeners if that was grating.
Enjoy my file.
What I think would be good is if you made a Pegasus and attached a shotgun to its side so you can give it the boomstick, and then it's zipping about zapping people. Pegasus with a shotgun.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to do that.
You should.
Spend my 80 points plus whatever the boomstick costs.
30 points, 110 for a flying lightning bolt 3 fella.
No way. No flippin' way.
See you, Pegasus. Go back to Hercules. Let's get into the legendary fellas. There's only 3 in this list, so we're almost at the end.
Thank God.
Shall we start with the lady?
Yeah, do the green lady.
Apparently she's green. Infantry hero, speed 10, no melee, no ranged, defense 6, no attacks, 14-16 nerve, 200 points. But that's so naked. What's so good about this green lady, you ask? Elite fly, heal 8, individual inspiring regen 5, and can take 2 wild companions for 10 points each. And if you feel like it, you can upgrade a unit of the what are they called? Hunters of the Wild. There you go.
Yeah.
20 points, gives them regen 5 and headstrong, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
This lady, green with envy, is decent. 200 points for elite flying heal 8 character. That's probably not going to die. Defense 6 and regen 5. Also individual, so harder to shoot. Pretty good. It should be fairly reliable healing as well with that elite.
Yeah. It's either, for me, it's the green lady or the winged unicorn. It's one or the other, not both.
Yeah, if you want to add some bells and whistles on the unicorn, fine. Otherwise, go green lady. Yeah, that's it.
Wild guard aren't too bad though.
Yeah, they seem alright. If I was taking them, I'll upgrade 20 points.
Yeah, 20 points.
Regen 5, I think it's worth it.
Oh, it's headstrong and regen vibes.
Yes. Yeah. We can't give them items because it's a legendary fella or lady. How about we just jump over to the next person? Garrus, another infantry hero. Speed 5, melee 4, defense 4, 1 attack, 12-14 nerve, 160 points. A bit of a weird spellcaster this one. You get Fireball 7, heal 1. Why? I don't know. Individual inspiring, lightning bolt 2, surge 8, and has a unique item called Solar Staff. Basically, it's a 24-inch shooting attack. It's only one. You get one shot. If it hits on a 4, that unit that got hit can't do jack. So it's blinded, so it can't charge, and it's disordered.
It's not bad.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, because you can't give Keris items, you can only do 1 shooting attack. So like that item that gives you 2 shooting attacks a turn might help, but It's either a 50-50 chance of shutting down a unit or fireballing someone or surging something.
Yeah, there's too many options, isn't there?
And I think heal and lightning bolt isn't high enough to be worth trying to cast.
Yeah, it's fireball or the surge, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because why would you do a 50-50 chance of healing something, one, or 50-50 chance of shutting a unit down? It doesn't equate.
No.
Computing is not there.
Or if you go to town with him and actually buy the wild companion for 10 points, you can have another option of a fireball.
So
of
two
a fireball
different kinds.
5.
Yeah. Well, piercing 1 on it though.
Yeah,
That's
true.
something. Pass.
Pass.
I like the idea of that solar stuff though.
Yeah,
But that's
idea.
160 points for that.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky, if you know you're lucky, then you should take this character.
You can roll a 4+ every time you roll the dice.
Then you're set.
Yeah.
Next, last one. Charlotte. Speed 10. That's a bit better than speed 5 of Kyrus. I'm going to say Kyrus because Kyrus I would think needs a double R. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speed 10, melee 4, defense 3, 1 attack, 12-14 nerf, and 150 points. So slightly cheaper than the previous character. Defense isn't as good. Speed 10 is better. We get Fireball 10, Fly, so much better. Individual Inspiring, and Wind Blast 7. And
This guy is usable.
Yeah.
Girl, guy,
Person.
thing. Druid, apparently.
It's interesting that the wild companions of this character and the previous have names.
Hang on, it's a princess. It's a her. It's a she.
Princess.
Yes. I think this one's definitely usable. Wouldn't bother with the wild companion.
Nah.
But Fireball 10 with Fly.
Yeah.
Even Wind Blast.
That's what I'm looking at. Wind Blast 7. Just to annoy folk. 150. That's a healthy points value. That's not too much. It's not too cheap.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like the ability of being able to fly behind or to the flank of something and then push an inspiring character out of inspiring range.
Yeah. You'd have
Is
to
a
be
good one?
very careful with your placing. The defense 3.
Yeah, defense 3. Yeah, you got to be very careful, but yeah, the things you could do. It's quite a nice little character for 150 points.
Yeah, not bad.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's not really any specific army setups that you would take it with. You could just pop
No.
it in anything really, and it should work.
It's not the end of the world if you don't take it.
Of the 3 legendaries, Green Lady is my pick of the bunch.
Yeah, she's the standout.
And that concludes all the units within the Forces of Nature. Not bad. Pathfinder on everyone is nice. Got a decent range. So this army could do anything really. No war machines, so you don't have a lot of long-range firepower, but you do have wizards with lightning bolt.
Yeah, lightning bolt's your main shooting power. I mean, you've got the heart piercers and brace striders, but
it's just that they're
that's
shorter, and
Yep.
brace riders don't shoot as much. So I'd lightning bolt if I want to go long range.
Yeah, lightning bolt heavy.
Yeah.
That's where you need to be.
Okay, so with that, do you think there are any gaps that could be filled using allies, apart from the ogre shooters with +1 to hit?
I personally wouldn't be taking allies in this army anyway, but because I feel like it's a sort of an ally army anyway. Like there's just bits and pieces of everything.
A hodgepodge.
If anything, I would be taking a unit that can fight reasonably well. I don't know what that would come from. Maybe elves? Maybe, I don't know, maybe a cavalry unit from the elves?
Dracons, maybe?
Yeah, Dracons would be a good fit. Other than that, though, like I don't think they need a lot of shooting. They've got a lot of lightning bolt access. They've got a little bit of a few ranged attacks, as we discussed before. Characters are alright.
Characters can fly about or surge to move things at a decent pace.
Yeah, I think anything that gives them a bit more punch in close combat would be the way to go.
They're not overwhelmed with heavy hitting units.
You're relying on your magic to buff them.
Yeah.
I mean, your tree herders are reasonably good in combat with crushing strength 3, defense 6, so they're going to stick around for a while. Yeah, everything else is...
Beasts of nature.
Beasts of nature, they're quite good. Lower defense, but they can still fight.
They're also cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of your like regiments or hordes, or horde formations, I should say, are really all that punchy. So yeah, that's where I'd be going.
Yeah.
Something with a bit more power in close combat.
Agreed. Alright, that'll be enough for allies.
Right.
If you have any suggestions, dear listener, shoot them through. Let us know, because you've had a couple of goes with this army. Did you feel like you were missing out on anything?
No, not really. Yeah, it's only the punch in close combat, really. That's it. I think they've got plenty of lightning bolt action and some punchiness, but not enough.
Alright, well, since we're on the subject of would you take, what is your list? Give us an example of what you would run.
This is my 2,000 point nature list. So I would start with a unit of Naiad Heart Piercers. They're a regiment. All I gave these guys was fire oil because I had a spare 5 points. So for anyone that's unaware, I'm pretty sure it just gives you piercing 1 against units with regeneration, or crushing strength 1 if they're in close combat.
Yeah.
Then I went for a regiment of Hunters of the Wild. They're naked. A horde of forest shamblers. I didn't give them anything. I ummed about Brew of Strength, but run short of points.
Always a problem.
Then I went for a regiment of Centaur Bray Hunters. And again, these guys... I think I got them mixed up before. The Hunters are the shooting ones. Oops.
That's right.
Regiment of those guys. They're naked.
Naked?
Then I got a regiment of the Bray Striders, so they'd be tag teaming, shooting, and close combating stuff. Then I move into some characters. So I've got a druid. I put him on a horse to keep up with the Bray Hunters and Striders. Gave him Bane Chant as well, so adding piercing or an extra crushing strength to either of those units, depending on what's happening. And it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to stick with them. If they're fighting weaker units, he can buzz off somewhere else.
Got the speed for it.
Yeah, he's got the speed to do it. Then I'll move on to Tree Herders, so I took 2 of those. I didn't give them any magic items. I wanted to give them the extra surge ability, but again, short points.
Yeah.
So they're basically going to sit behind my forest shamblers and surge them into combat. And great for supporting those and the Hunters of the Wild. That's where I'd be keeping them, all the trees together, probably.
Right.
Winged Unicorn is my next character. I gave him Lightning Bolt, so he's got Heal 7, Lightning Bolt 5. Depending on what army I'm playing and where I want him to be, he could help either of my 2 little forces. Then I've got a Beast of Nature, which I wanted to give him wings but couldn't afford them, so he's Lightning Bolt 6 and he's vicious with 7 attacks. So I was thinking this guy would probably be hanging around with the trees. And to finish off my list, I have a Hydra.
Alright, a Hydra. Any reason, just cause?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to run one.
Because you wanted a Hydra.
I figured if he's probably one of the Beast of Nature could probably keep up with the Bray Striders. It'd be either that could hang around the trees, really, the Hydra or the Beast of Nature.
Yeah, yep.
But it's just something to support. I've got one monster each to support either side, or if I think the trees are strong enough on one side, I could support my Bray Striders a bit more.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That was my 2,000 point army list anyway.
Very well done. You can have a seat. Alright, I'll do mine. My 2,000 point army, it is made up of 2 regiments of Heart Piercers. These are my objective takers and sit and shoot because they're not moving from the objective. I've got a horde of salamanders with the Brute of Haste. I like these guys in the salamander army. A nice big intimidating block of 40 is something that can't be ignored. And it's speed 6, so if I want them in combat, I can punch them into combat. Pathfinder also helps with such a large footprint. From that core of my army, I then add 20 Hunters of the Wild, so that's a regiment, nothing else on them, they're naked. Regiment of Braced Riders with the Blessing of the Gods to give them elite. I figured these are going to be a quick, trying to skirt the side and flank someone.
Yep.
And then I'll try and maximize all those hits with elite. To go war machine hunting, possibly character hunting, or just annoy people, I've got a regiment of Sylph Talon Riders.
Yep.
They're also naked, points, so can't really afford much more.
Yep.
I've got a Druid backing up my infantry blocks, Bane Chant 2 and Lightning Bolt 3, so when I'm not doing much in the early game, I can hope to be zapping something that it can see, and then Bane Chant once combat happens.
Yep.
Rounding up the list, I've included the Green Lady because of her flying healing abilities. It can zip about and support units that are in combat by keeping them running. And I can also bring in Green Lady's Wild Guard, which I've also added a unit.
Yep.
So I've got some decent blocks, not great defensive wise, but hopefully the healing can keep them going.
Keep them sticking around for a lot longer.
And to top off my big bowl of ice cream with some sprinkles and nuts, I've got 2 Beasts of Nature. 2 slightly different roles here. One of them's got speed, 10 and fly with vicious and 7 attacks. And I've given the other ones speed, 10 fly, as well as lightning bolt. So one's more combat, one's more zip and shoot. Depending on what I want to do, I can have them both combat or not. Just having the option, I think, is important. I find with this game, speed is key. Having fly on both is also quite hard to deal with as an opponent, unless you've got an army that can deal with fly.
And speaking of experience there.
Yes. Yes. But that's my list. So decent blocks of regiments backed up with some supporting casters to keep them going. Got some fast punch, 2 monsters, and a couple of harassment units. So that's my nice balanced 2,000 point list.
Nice one.
Thank you. Yours is nice too, gosh.
Except my beast doesn't have any wings.
Your wings are clipped. That's not really a beast then, it's kind of like just a something of nature. I don't know where I was going with that joke. It's too late.
You're all out of ice cream, I think.
All out of ice cream. No sprinkles for you. I think we're done.
I think that's it.
We don't have any more segments, do we?
No, we're done.
Check out our Facebook page. I've put up my first completed unit of my Abyssal Dwarves. The Gargoyles.
Cool.
Multi-based. Looks nice and pretty.
They do look pretty.
I was a bit worried with snow, but I watched a whole bunch of tutorials and pick and choose what I like from each, and I think come out of a treat. An ice cream treat. Sorry, there's too many ice cream analogies here.
The ice cream forces of nature are near you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different meal next army. Okay. Alright, I think we're done.
I think we are.
Hopefully you enjoyed listening to us blab on about the forces of nature. Hopefully you've learnt something, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we're teaching people.
Hopefully.
I feel a bit like a jerk saying, yes, I'm teaching people with my words. Anyway, have a good night or day, whatever, and we'll see you next time. I don't know what we're doing next time.
Probably
Maybe
a missive.
a missive?
Possibly.
Send us a comment, maybe if you want something more targeted.
Yes.
And we'll take that on board.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, direct misfire blowing up the game. Talking many war games is our aim. From rulebooks to advice, we cover it all. With the best tactics, we never fall. Bensome and Spoon are your hosts every vid. Misfiring, but aiming up ahead. Comment, like, and subscribe today, keeping you notified and up to date. Come check us out at facebook.com/directmisfire or shoot us over an email at directmisfire@gmail.com.